Hey everybody, this is Sega Girl NB, and welcome to my Let's Play of The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. So, oh my god, guys, so I kid you not, I've been practicing this game for the last, few weeks now. Obviously, as you can tell, this was my practice file. I literally just finished the game 100% last night. And that's actually something that I've never actually done before in the many, many years that I've been playing this game. I've always gone just from point A to point B, when it comes to just, you know, straight up, doing the game, you know, doing the main dungeons and doing the main story and not really doing so much of the side quests and things like that, even though I've dabbled in it here and there. Last night was the first time in history that I've actually sat down using a written guide and gone through 100%. Minus the Nintendo gallery, because we'll be getting into the main ideas behind that, like, at some point later on. But in terms of what it is that we're going to do for this Let's Play, same thing as I was doing on my practice file. We're basically just going to do everything in terms of getting all the heart pieces and getting all the treasure charts. And you're going to understand what I mean by that the further as we continue. So for this Let's Play, we're going to call ourselves, I'm going to call myself Corin, because that is my name in IRL. And we're just going to jump straight into it. So, other things that I have to make mention of as well. Pokemon is still going to be going on, and I swear to God, someday I'll get back to Billy Hatcher. But in terms of how I'm going to be updating this, I'm going to be updating this as frequently as I am going to be for Pokemon. In fact, after I do like my first recording session for this, I'm probably going to hop on my 3DS and record more Pokemon. But besides that, in terms of getting with my my history with this game, so my cousin, as I did with like a lot of games that I used to play like back in the past, we always shared games because we lived in the same household, and he happened to have a Gamecube and I happened to have a Gamecube. So like anytime that I wanted to see what it was that he was playing, I would just go down the hallway to his room and then see what it was that he was playing, and he happened to be playing Wind Waker. And naturally, of course, you know, I had by that point I had Ocarina of Time and I had Majora's Mask under my belt. I never actually really grew up with Majora's Mask, so to speak, because I would always go over to my cousin Mary's house, and she was like a really big fan of Majora's Mask, which made it all the more disappointing when she was ragging on this game so much because she hated the way that it looked. And that basically echoed pretty much how everybody felt about this game back when it first came out, is everybody was saying that like it's a shitty game or it's stupid because the art style makes it look like a cartoon. And yet I find it hilarious that years later, this is actually like the game that has held up the best in terms of its visual look and its visual art style. Which is another thing that I also wanted to bring up as well. A lot of people are probably wondering, why are you doing the GameCube version as opposed to the version that was on the Wii U, when the Wii U version's like readily available and it has like a lot more quality of life improvements, etc., etc. Well, there was actually an issue. I was going to do that originally, but there was actually an issue that was brought up by one of my best friends, Alex. Shout out to Alex, by the way. Love you, dude. Love you, wow. He was telling me that the intense brightness as well as the bloom effects that were added to the HD version actually hurts his eyes. And so I felt as though there might be some sort of photosensitive people that might not react that well to seeing the HD version for too long. And I felt that, and after playing this version again, like after I don't know how long, I'm actually kind of in agreement that I feel like visually, I think the HD version takes away a lot of the charm that I personally feel is kind of lost in translation with the HD version in terms of converting it from the GameCube original. And I have also not been talking over this intro like whatsoever, but the basic gist currently in terms of what's going on in the story is the plot of Ocarina of Time happened. If anybody played Ocarina of Time, everybody remembers at the end of Ocarina of Time, Link defeats Ganon, the hero of time, as they refer to him, and then he obviously gets sent back to relive his childhood past in by Zelda, but after that happens, Ganon somehow managed to break free of the seal, and with no Link to defeat him, the gods basically decided to drown all of Hyrule into the sea. So now, we fast forward to hundreds of years later, we're here on Outset Island, which is going to be like our main home island, so to speak, and we have a little girl who's looking for her big brother. That's the other thing about this game, too, is that I love this game's story. It's a very simple, and it's not anywhere near as complex as, like, other kinds of game stories and whatnot, but at the same time, though, I feel like it's really effective because I love that the story focuses on a brother and a sister. And for me, I actually, like, really identify with that a lot because, I mean, obviously, pre-transition, back in 2008, my little sister was born, so then I actually did kind of become the big brother before I started identifying as female. This is my favorite spot to gaze out at the sea. When I play with the gulls, I call it Errol's Lookout. So yeah, this is our little sister. Her name is Errol. Or Arl, Ariel. Okay, so do you remember what day it is today? You're still half asleep, aren't you? Man, that's a whole ass mood. Did you forget? Big brother, it's your birthday! Actually, at the time that I'm actually recording this, it is 28 days after my birthday. My birthday was on April 1st. I actually did see a comment on one of my Pokemon videos with somebody wishing me happy birthday, so thank you to that person. You should probably go home and see what Grandma wants, don't you think? I just realized that, like, Errol just kind of froze in place there. Alright, but one thing that I did kind of want to go over, just like a tiny little thing that just kind of annoyed me about the way that this game was received, that I was one of, like, Wind Waker's biggest defenders, like, back in the day. Like, I adamantly, like, stood up for this game, like, multiple times, mostly just because of the way that it looked. I loved the way that this game looked back when it first came out, and I still love the way that it looks, like, even to this day. Like, considering the fact that this was a game that was, like, released, what, in, like, 2002, 2003, in the year 2024, it still looks great. Like, even without the HD version and stuff like that, if you upscaled this, like, through an emulator or something like that, this game would look amazing. Even then, though, it was always really disheartening, you know, when people would tell me that, like, oh, I didn't play this game because it didn't look like a real Zelda game, or it's not a true Zelda game because of its art style. Like, those kinds of people tick me off because I'm personally of the belief that just because an art style is different from what you're used to, that doesn't automatically make it bad or that it's not true to the roots of the series, because I feel like in terms of the formula that was set up by Ocarina of Time, this game is pretty much, like, the best evolution of it. I think, like, the only other one that I, like, manages to take everything that I loved about Ocarina of Time and, like, fully polish it to, like, a T was Twilight Princess. But I find it so funny that everybody was like, oh my god, Twilight Princess is amazing because, like, it doesn't look like, you know, kitty crap or whatever it is. Like, everybody was, like, making, like, a huge deal that, like, they righted the wrongs of Wind Waker because of the art style, and yet Twilight Princess, I feel like, has not held up or aged as well graphically, like, at all. It reeks of, like, 2006 grunge and, like, you know, like, dark, gritty. But at the same time, though, like, Twilight Princess is a great game, like, gameplay-wise. So, like, even if I'm not, like, particularly a big fan of the game, like, art style-wise, like, I think it's still a fun game. But I love this game both in its art style and its gameplay. So here we go. We talk to Grandma. I've been waiting for you, Corin. Corin, try these on. Aw, man, do I have to? Time certainly flies. I can't believe you're already old enough to wear these clothes. Link's face, oh my gosh. You got the hero's clothes. They might look like they'd be a little warm for this weather. Is it just really hot outside? Is that what it is? Well, I mean, over here it's not much different. Well, anyways, don't look so disappointed, dear one. Just try them on. Today's the day to celebrate. It's the day that you become the same age as the young hero spoken of in all the legends. You only have to wear them for one day, so don't look so down. Be proud, child. I've exorcised the demons. I'll just make her sound like Mama Odie from freaking The Princess of the Frog. Now, which one of you naughty children? Anyway, in the olden days, this is the day boys were finally considered to be men. They were taught the ways of the sword to prepare them for battle with their enemies. But we don't live in such an age any longer. Our ways are the ways of peace. Nowadays, I suppose Orca is the only one on the island who still knows anything about swordplay. Oh, and there's the shield that has the Triforce on it. Man, frickin', I'm gonna have to come up with, like... So for those who don't know, I actually did attempt to try and record this earlier, and I was gonna do it with my actual physical copy. Because I do have a copy of this game from, like, many, many years ago. And I kid you not, I got to the Forsaken Fortress, and the game just crashed. So I don't know if it was because the GameCube overheated, or if there was, like, a problem with the disc or something like that. But, yeah, so then I ended up losing, like, an hour's worth of progress. So I was really, really, like, disappointed that I eventually... And then I realized that I really needed to practice the game more in terms of going for 100%, because there's a lot of stuff that you can do in this game. But anyways, you want to stop on over to this guy over here, you press the L button, and you can lock onto him. That's correct, you're a smart one. You, my friend, have just L-targeted me. L-targeted. When you press L, you can target certain objects. I, for one, use it quite often to talk to folks who are far away from me. Of course, even if there isn't anything around to target, you can press L to face forward, you know. It's quite handy. Yes, quite. Man, he has got the biggest-ass brain. He's like Sheen in that one episode of Jimmy Neutron. Anyway, now that we got the hero's clothes, we can head on over, back on over to where Errol is, over at the hideout. But yeah, like, there was, like, a ton of quotes and, like, tons of references and things like that I was doing in my first recording of this, and I was just really, really mad that I ended up having to scrap it. That's what ended up delaying this project, I think, by a couple weeks, was I just wanted to record it and make sure that everything was good to go and everything, and lo and behold, frickin' technical issues came up and completely demolished it. So what I'm doing is I'm actually using an SD card that's plugged into one of the memory card slots of my GameCube, and it's running off of Swiss. So I'm actually using that version to go ahead and play this. So, but for anybody who tries to call me out and say, oh, you're pirating and stuff like that, no, shut up. I have a physical copy of the game from 20-something years ago, so you can stop that. Did Grandma make that outfit for you? But wow, you look like you'd be way too hot in those clothes. She says the same thing. Guess they're pretty neat, though. So anyway, Corin, can you close your eyes and hold out your hand just for a second? I'm going to give you my most treasured belonging, but just for one day. Happy birthday! There's a little smile in the corner. I didn't even realize that. She's so happy. And that's actually something you're going to be hearing me gush about a lot, is the facial expressions. I think one thing that I've always disliked, I think, about Link, I think, as a character, is that, especially in the N64 games, and I think some of the other games later on, he's meant to be a silent protagonist. I get that, but, like, if you're gonna have a silent protagonist, you need to give me facial expressions and stuff like that to show that he's capable of emoting. And that's one of the biggest reasons why Toon Link is actually... that's actually this iteration of Link. That's what he's called. He's called Toon Link, or I think some of the developers have also called him Cat Eye Link. But I like the term Toon Link better, obviously, because he looks like a cartoon. But you can notice in his idle animations, like, just the way that he's looking around, the way that he's, like, emoting, you get a sense of, like, you know what it is that he's saying and what it is that he's feeling just through expressions. Oh, look at these two. Oh, she's looking at him. Hold on. Let's get the two of them closer together. Brother and sister. Aww. That's adorable. Anyway. So what she wants us to do is she wants us to look through the telescope. Hey, what's that? Okay, so you gotta remember, you wanna... Okay, hold on. I need to head down. Yeah, there we go. It's inverted. There we go. So we want to look at this Birdman over here, who's over by the post box. Postman looks kind of weird, doesn't he? Ah, Corin, the sky! Look up at the sky! So then you want to go ahead and shift the telescope up on top. And there's another giant bird with a girl in her hands, or in its claws, sorry, its talons, so to speak. Because I'm pretty sure that's what, like, a hawk has. They're, like, talons, what they grab with. Well, anyways, it's being shot at by a bunch of pirates with a cannonball. That's the other thing I always like to joke about, too, is, a lot of people always say that, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is the greatest pirate game ever made. I actually thoroughly disagree with that, because I believe that this game actually kind of trumps it. No, you don't play as a pirate, but in terms of what it is that we're gonna be doing later on in this game, it's probably the closest that I can honestly, like, I say, comes close to making you feel like a pirate. Like, you sail around in a boat on a great sea, you have a sea chart, you're digging up treasure, you know, finding all sorts of different, like, nooks and crannies, you know, you come across other different ships on the ocean. Like, there's a lot of different things, like, so on and so forth, that kind of, like, really give me that feeling, and it really scratches that itch. Now, in terms of why I wanted to do Wind Waker, or really just a Zelda game for the channel, like, to begin with, well, I was recently, literally, like, I think at the beginning of the month, I had started to replay Hyrule Warriors on my Switch, because I love Hyrule Warriors, and it really got me in the mood to play a Zelda game. So then I really wanted to go back and just, like, play through whichever of the games that I feel, you know, really kind of mashed, or the ones that I remember liking the most. And of the three, the ones that I always really liked was Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. So I wanted to go through and just kind of practice them, and then I put it up for vote with a lot of my friends and a lot on my channel, and as well as my my Blue Sky account. And everybody basically unanimously agreed they wanted to see me do Wind Waker. So I was legitimately, like, really excited about that fact, because Wind Waker is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm really excited, you know, to be doing this. Very good. Next is the thrust. So we're learning basically the ways of the sword with Orca here. L target, then you're gonna tilt the joystick up and then press B. All right, very good. Keep thrusting. Okay, I'm not gonna take that out of context. Hold on, let me get centered again. There we go. Perfect. Next is the spin attack. Hold B briefly to build up your strength, then release it, or rotate the joystick once and then press B. So we're gonna hold it down and then boom. There we go. There's our spin attack. And boom. Next is the hard part. This is the parry attack. Okay, the parry attack has given me so much trouble. That was the other thing, too, is that I swear to God, they changed the timing of when that little A pops up on screen when you're supposed to do the parry attack in the HD version, because there's a heart piece that you can actually get for, like, a little bit later on, when you come back to Outside Island. Oh yeah, sorry, we just had to do the jump attack. I thought we were doing the parry attack again still. So, no, there's a heart piece that you get when you hit Orca with your sword 500 times, and you only get 3 hits. Otherwise, it's basically over. So, essentially, by that point, it's one of the most annoying heart pieces in the game. But I did find a strategy while I was practicing the game, basically to kind of try and get this down before I was doing the Let's Play and whatnot. So, it's... when we get there, it's gonna take a while, but at the same time, I don't think it's really gonna be that big of a deal. But anyways, I am gonna be coming up on time, because now that we've begun the game and we've gotten the sword and everything like that, we're gonna go rescue that girl who's over at the top of the mountain. So before we do that, let's go ahead and actually journey on up that way, so that way we can go ahead and get where it is that we need to. Whoop. Actually, I think what I'm going to do before I end off this episode, I'm actually going to go over to this boat over here, because you're going to notice I actually found that 100 rupee. The 100 rupees, like, underneath Grandma's house. Well, if you actually head on over into this boat over here, we're going to meet a fellow named Beetle. So you want to talk to him over here. Oh, a customer. Welcome to Beetle's Shopship. I deal in pretty much anything and everything. Do you have anything you don't need? If you do, show it to me. I'll pay top rupees for your junk. Or, do you see anything you like to buy? Or just use blah blah blah. So what we actually want to do is, first things first, we want to buy the bait bag. This is going to be insanely important for this Let's Play, because it has 8 pouches for storing bait. So then... Thank you! So he's talking about how we get a membership card. So if we get up to 30 points, then we can earn a silver membership. So I don't actually know exactly what the membership things do. I'm assuming if you turn in the membership card or whatever it is, you get like rupees or something like that. You don't get a piece of heart or anything like that. But anyways, what I want to do, I want to buy at least 3 Hoi pairs. Whenever you use these out on any of the islands, you can take control of seagulls. And you don't need to buy very many of these, to be perfectly honest, because it's very rare when you actually have to use it. No, instead, the one you're gonna want to buy is the all-purpose bait. But first things first, let me buy my... I'm gonna at least get 3 of the Hoi pairs. So then, the rest, in terms of what we're gonna be doing, is gonna be the all-purpose bait. So I'm gonna go ahead and purchase a few more of these. You get 3 portions for each one that you buy. So 3 times 5. So that's basically going to be like 15. And that's going to be more than enough to help us fill out what it is that we need in terms of for filling up our sea chart. I keep explaining like all... It's weird because I keep explaining like all these things that we haven't done yet, but it's gonna be good for like future use. But you know, I'm trying to future-proof myself so that way I'm like prepared ahead of time and I know what it is that I'm doing. Alright, but anyways, now that we've gone ahead and gotten all the stuff that it is that we need to currently at the moment, next time on Let's Play The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, if I can actually get into first person, we're going to head on up over to the cliff over there, cross the bridge, and head on into the forest. So, I'll see you guys then. Take care, everybody!